GR IAS Academy.
"100 days, 100 themes, one goal, UPSC Prelims." Hello everyone, welcome back to Mission Surya. This is Spandana. I'll be dealing with current affairs from now on. Mission Surya deals with current affairs completely from prelims perspective. Let's get started. Today our theme is AI and emerging tech. So, our first topic is Hyperloop technology. So, what is Hyperloop technology? Hyperloop technology uses maglev and linear induction motors to develop high-speed rail. So, why it is in news now? Maharashtra government signed an agreement with Tutor Hyperloop Private Limited. So it is in news. So let's see about Hyperloop technology and more about this. Okay, proposed corridor. So where it comes, this Hyperloop technology, where it comes? It comes to connect between JNPT Mumbai and upcoming Vadhavan port. Vadhavan port, JNPT. Okay, so the agreement the Maharashtra government has signed with Tutor Hyperloop comes between Navi Mumbai JNPT port and Vadhavan port, which is upcoming. Let's see about Hyperloop system. So if you notice, this is a pod. What is a pod? Pod is a carriage or a vehicle used to transport people from one place to another place. So here, like if you see trains, you'll have coaches, right? So it's just like the same, but the difference is there normally tracks are used. Here also tracks are used, but our pods don't touch to the tracks. Basically our pod floats in the air. How does it floats in the air? So it uses maglev. What is maglev? It is magnetic levitation. What is magnetic levitation? So our Hyperloop technology uses maglev. How it is uses? So let's see this diagram. See, this is our pod. This is levitation magnet, right? This is levitation magnet. This is guidance magnet. If you notice here, the pod is not touching the rails. This is rails. It is actually floating in the air because of the magnetism produced by these magnets. So how this magnetism is produced? Linear induction motors. So Hyperloop technology uses linear induction motors. Okay. So magnetic levitation to move parts through near vacuum tubes. Okay, so you have to note this point. They operate in near vacuum tubes but not in complete vacuum. This is the important point where UPSC might trouble you. It will ask you, Hyperloop technology operates in vacuum. That is wrong statement. It uses near vacuum tubes. Okay, so this is the important point, you have to note it down. So if you notice here, this is our tube, this is our pod which floats in the pod using maglev technology. So why are we using maglev technology? Why can't we use rails? Yeah, okay. maglev technology allows us our pot to float in the air, because of which air pressure will be lowered, aerodynamic drag will not be there. Why aerodynamic drag will not be there? Because when it floats in the air, there won't be friction in between these two, rails and the pod. So when there is no friction, obviously the speed increases, right? So if speed increases, obviously friction decreases, drag decreases. So we are using linear electric motors to provide this electrostatic field, which is used to produce magnetic levitation for our pots to move in the near vacuum tubes. Okay, let's see it. So this is the cross section of the pod. Okay, let's see this. This is the cross section of the pod. And this is the levitation magnet. This is the guidance magnet. So we'll be using these magnets to produce magnetic levitation. So why are we using hyperloop system? For the speed and efficiency. So the speed goes up to 1200 kilometers, which is more than very high speed rail when compared to flights and short haul air travel. Short haul air travel is nothing but flights. So yeah, this hyperloop technology allows us to use very high speed transport system in near future. So let's see what are the advantages. They give us with ultra high speed when compared even with the most fastest transport we have. Even when compared to that, we will be getting very high speed transport system by using hyperloop technology. And it uses low energy consumption. Why it uses low energy consumption? Because half of the energy is not wasted in the form of friction. Since it is floating in the air, there is no friction, there is no air drag. So that's how the efficiency is increased. So when efficiency is decreased, consumption of energy decreases. So that's how we can operate hyperloop under low energy. Next, why reduce noise pollution? So obviously when we are using frictionless equipment, what produces sound for us? And if you notice, the structure of the hyperloop is in such a way that it does not produce any sound. Usually if the structure is not in this way, it produces boom sound. So we'll see that in next topic, okay? So this structure helps us to avoid the sound. So low pressure tubes and its structure and maglev and linear induction motors, these all helps us for the efficiency of hyperloop project. So we have covered these, and then why are we using hyperloop technology? Obviously for transport, so to travel from one place to another place. So yeah, it is used to travel from one place to another place. So if we are using carbon free energy for our hyperloop technology, then it will be environmentally sustainable practice. Okay, let's move to. So what are our takeaways from this topic? So it is very important for us to note that it operates in near vacuum but not in complete vacuum. This is the most important point. And the next one is it uses maglev plus linear induction motors. So normally in every machine we use round motors which uses wheels, but here in linear induction motors it is used to make the pod travel in a straight line. Okay, here we will not be using round motors. It is not commercially operated anywhere yet, and it is proposed as a future mobility solution. Presently it is not used. In future we are considering it to use it as a transport to transport people from one place to another place. So let's come to our next topic, biomimicry. If you have noticed, I have already mentioned in Hyperloop that the structure of the train is something like this, which is inspired from birds. Why it is inspired from the birds? So when different structure of train is used, when the pod is moving through near vacuum tubes, when it is coming outside, that sudden change brought up boom sound. So to avoid that, we have taken inspiration from the bird and then we used it in our technology. So this is called biomimicry. We are finding solutions for our problems from the nature and then we are implementing and engineering on those solutions. So right, that is what biomimicry is. So biomimicry means life, bio means life, mimicry means imitation. So we'll be imitating nature's form to solve our challenges. Okay? So why biomimicry fits 3D printing? So usually nature will have intricate geometries. So what are geometries? If you notice honeybee comb, it employs hexagonal structures in the comb, right? So this structure helps rigidity and gives standard space. So it offers both structure and space and strength. So this biomimicry helps us to find solutions for our problems, and 3D printing is optimal for that because it provides us to fabricate complex structures that are present in the nature and without any additional cost. Why without any additional cost? Normally if we want, let's take furniture. Usually what does he do? He takes a log of wood and then he changes it to required shape. So in that process lot of wastage is created. So when we use 3D printing, we will not be changing the shape of the log of the wood, we will be creating actually the furniture shape which is required. So we are not wasting any material over there. We are using the material in the required shape directly. So because of which only where required we are using material, which helps us to reduce wastage. So that's why 3D printing allows us to use biomimicry to our advantage. So let's move to the examples. As if I told you honeycomb geometries. Let's see another example. If you have seen lotus leaf, how does lotus leaf function? So in a pond or a lake, if you see a lotus leaf, it will be always clean. Why it is always clean? Though it is in between water, in between so much dirty water and everything. Because it self-cleans. The property of self-cleaning the lotus have will be inspiration for us to develop self-cleaning surfaces. So, by this nature inspiration, we will develop such surfaces which helps us to reduce our cleaning work. So yeah, some places we may not be able to reach and clean, right? Such surfaces will be helpful for that problem. So let's see another example. Spider web inspired lattices. Why spider web? If you notice spider web, it will be having so many silk threads connecting to each other. So at any insect entering into the web, at any point of the web, there will be balance in the web. So the strength of the silk threads created by web is so high that even if weight increases at certain point, the web will not collapse. So this helps us to take inspiration for us to develop such strength having materials in applications like vest, bulletproof jacket. So what happens in bulletproof jacket? Very high strength of bullet will fire. So this jacket has to stop that. So in that case, if you are using this kind of silk in the vest, it will help us to stop the impact. So strength to weight ratio is very important for us to do that, and that inspiration we took from spider web. So this is how biomimicry works. These are a few more examples. So yeah, let's move to the next slide. So what are the advantages of our biomimicry? So these geometries what we use in our biomimicry, they gives us the strength and flexibility to operate and find solutions for our problems. Next, since we are using 3D printing, we are reducing the wastage. So obviously the consumption of the material decreases, right? So yeah, it allows us to consume less materials. And then if you notice, I have told you about spider web. Spider web, if you have cleaned your houses, you would have noticed the threads are very thin, very light. Yet they have so much of strength to carry even heavy insects on it. So that's how even 3D printing helps us to create lightweight and yet durable structures. And then even this helps us to provide the thermal capabilities, mechanical capabilities and aerodynamic performances. So 3D printing is not only used to create in these things, you can even use it for our bigger problems. Okay? So let's see what is its significance. So we are using very less material for our 3D printing because we are actually choosing an object and then we will be taking dimensions of the object and we will be filling that dimensions according to our requirement. then obviously there will be less wastage, right? So our first point is reduced waste. So energy efficient designs. So when we are using these nature inspired solutions, obviously we are taking sustainable practices and efficient practices, which helps us to have designs which are energy efficient, sustainable and having durability. So let's see. So when we are using less raw materials, so sustainability will be increased since we are reducing wastage. So obviously it supports sustainable manufacturing and eco-friendly products as well, because when you are reducing wastage, obviously you are not polluting more. So obviously it is environment friendly. That's all for today. Let's continue tomorrow. Thank you very much. For complete video, please click on the link given in the description below. For more videos, please follow us on YouTube channel.